my crafty friends. Welcome to Funday Monday number 10 for the Hat Not Hate project. This is the fourth hat that we will be making, and I am calling this pattern, another one that I have created, Party in a Hat. And this is what it looks like. And just like the last couple ones we've been doing, I really have fallen in love with this brim. So we're going to make another hat with this brim. But next week, I promise we'll change it up a little bit. And then we are using nothing but double crochet and single crochets throughout this hat as well, like we did last week. But they will be individually done. They will not be in the same stitch like we did. So they won't be in like a set of stitches. And then I added a matching pom-pom to the brim on this hat. Now, for the hat we're going to make, we're going to do the same pattern, but I'm going to do the colorway just a little bit different so you can see how you can use one pattern and change your hat to make it look like a completely different hat, even though it's the same pattern. So if you're ready to get started and make your party in a hat, then meet me over at the craft table. For this tutorial, you're going to need a J hook or 6mm, a pair of scissors, and a yarn needle. The yarn that you'll be using, and I'm going to be using Red Heart Super Saver, colorway Royal. It is a 4 medium weight yarn. It is 100% acrylic, and I'm going to be using Kai Loops and Thread, colorway Cupcake. It is a lightweight 3 medium yarn, and it is 100% acrylic as well. And then I always like to start off any of my projects with some lotion on the hands to get them moist and hydrated so that we are taking care of our best tool. So if you're ready, we're going to go ahead and get started. I am going to make the brim of my hat in the Kai Cupcake. And I'm also going to come back before the hat is over and add a little bit of an accent with it at the very top of the hat. But in the middle of the hat, I am going to use the royal blue. So if you're ready, close the lotion up. Our hands are all nice and moist and ready to go. And I have some of that cupcake yarn and a cake already. And we're going to chain 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We are going to single crochet in the second stitch from the hook. So not this one, but this one. So let's just go right in there and work a single crochet. And then we're going to work a single crochet all the way across the row. And when we're complete and we've made all of our single crochets, we will have a total of 8 single crochets for our first row. right? And we're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn. And we're going to work a single crochet right here in the first stitch. And we're going to work a single crochet in the next 6 stitches, but we're going to go into the back loop only. So if you turn your work, you'll see on the top here you have these stitches that look like V's or either half of a heart. You've got a loop here and a loop here. We normally go under both of those loops to make our stitch. When you're holding your work this way, this loop here is called the front loop because it is the closest to you. It's in the front. This one here is called the back loop because it's further away from you in the back. We are going to work our single crochets into the back loop only. So we're going to come back here to the back loop and slide our hook underneath there, and we're going to pull up our loop and make our single crochet. And we're going to do that 5 more times, making single crochets in the back loop only. So there's now 4 of our 6. And if you're new to crochet, it's kind of hard getting started because you have nothing to hold on to. And there is number 5. But keep trying, don't give up. And number 6. So we've now made 7 single crochets on this row so far, 1 under both loops and 6 under the back loop only. We have 1 stitch left because we have 8 on our row, and so we're going to go right up underneath both stitches to make that single crochet. And we're going to chain 1 as our turning chain, and we're going to turn. And we're going to work the next row and the next 68 rows the same way. So we are going to single crochet under both loops, and then we're going to do 6 single crochets only through the back loop only. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And the more you do, the easier it'll get because you'll have something to hold on to. And 5. You can see mine's even kind of a little all over the place until I get something to hold on to. And 6. And so for the last stitch, we're going to go under both loops and do a single crochet. Chain 1 and turn. Let's do this one more time. In the very first stitch, we're going to single crochet under both loops, and then for the next 6 stitches, we're going to single crochet into the back loop only. And it should be getting a little bit easier now because you should really have something to hang on to at this point. And then in the very last stitch, we're going to do our single crochet under both loops. Chain 1 and turn. So let's take a look at your work. The reason we are going under both loops on the ends is to kind of help give it a like a foundation row to kind of give it a definitive end. The reason we're working under the back loops only in the middle stitches, if you'll notice, you're starting to create a ribbed pattern, and that kind of gives your hat this rib look, and it gives it some texture. So let's go on with row 4, and we're going to work the same pattern we've been doing for row 4 through 70, and that is going under both loops to do that first single crochet, going through the back loop only for the next 6 single crochets, and then under both loops again for the single crochet at the very end. So go ahead and continue finishing up this row, and then work the next 66 rows until you reach the end of row 70, and I will meet up with you there, and I will show you how to close the brim of your hat and then begin making the body of the hat. And don't forget to chain 1 at the end before turning. When you come to the end of the 70th row, we are going to chain 1 and we're going to turn. And when you turn it, you want to make sure that your beginning tail is on the left side when your work is facing you. That shows that that is the right side of your brim, and then this is the back side or wrong side. We want to fold it so that the wrong sides are touching each other and the right side is facing out. This is the side that will be seen when the hat is worn. So we're going to now actually stitch our brim together, and we're going to do that by inserting our hook into the first stitch and then into the first stitch on the back, and we're going to bring them together with a slip stitch, and we're going to do that all the way across. Oops, lost my stitch or my loop. And one more. And that completes the brim of our hat. So now to begin the first row of the body of our hat. And we're going to do that by chaining 1. And as we work around the hat, we're going to just work this yarn in and secure it down as we go. So we're going to work a single crochet stitch in the end of each end of the rows that we just made along the brim of our hat. So we're just going to work along the edge here, just doing a single crochet at the end of each of those rows. And when you've worked a good bit of that tail in, you can then just take your scissors and just trim off the excess. And then we're just going to continue doing a single crochet all the way around. So go ahead and do that all the way around your hat, and I will meet you at the end of this round. When you've worked the last single crochet into the last stitch, you're going to go into the top of the first single crochet and you're going to slip stitch to join, chain one, and then go ahead and snip off your yarn, pull it all the way through, and secure the knot down. And we're going to go ahead and weave this tail in. And I like to weave my tails in on the underneath side of my work. So I'm just going to come right down into these stitches. Okay. I have to make sure I get just the top layer of stitches. And I'm not. So let's just come up underneath these just to get on that side of the work. And then we'll just come through the top of these stitches right here. Okay. When you've worked through a few of those, then turn around and come back. And then I'm just going to do it one more time. And then trim off the excess. And then right here where I fastened off is where I'm going to join. Let me get my new color. Mark my hook in there. All right, and then I'm gonna give myself a little bit of a tail, and then I'm going to join with a slip stitch. Grab my working yarn, then pull that down and secure it on the work, and then I'm going to chain one. All right, so now I'm going to work through the stitches that I made earlier. And I'm going to work a single crochet in the back loop only. So going around each stitch, I am going to work a single crochet into each of the back loops of the stitch from the previous round. So go ahead and work your single crochets in each stitch around in the back loop only, and I will meet you when you get to the end of round 2. Okay, for round 3, when we get to the end of round 2, we're going to just come into our first single crochet, and we're going to just slip stitch and chain 1. And then starting right here with our base of our chain 1 stitch, we're going to work a single crochet in it. And then in each stitch around for this round, we're going to work a single crochet, but we're going to do it in the back loop only again. So go ahead and work a single crochet into every stitch in the round, working it in the back loop only. And I'll meet you at the end of this round, and I'll let you know how to get ready for round 4. When you get to the end of round 3, you want to make sure that you're not doing a stitch into the false stitch here. Okay, that's where you slip stitch. So we're going to go into the top of round 3, and we're just going to slip stitch to end that round. We're going to chain 3, and we're going to work a double crochet, but we're going to skip this bottom stitch here. That's the base of our chain 3. We're going to skip that, and we're going to go right into the next stitch, and we're going to work a double crochet. And we're going to work a double crochet in all of the stitches on this round. So go ahead and work a double crochet into each stitch of round 4, and I will meet up with you at the end of this round. When you get to the end of round 4, you're going to go right into the top of the first double crochet of round 4, and you're going to join with a slip stitch. You're going to chain 3, and you're going to skip the stitch that's at the base of the chain 3, go into the next stitch and work a double crochet, and you're going to work a double crochet in each stitch around. And you're going to do that for the rest of this row and the next 7 rows. And so you'll work your double crochets around, you'll join into the top of the first double crochet with a slip stitch, chain 3, skip the stitch at the base of the chain 3, and in the next stitch and all the way around, work double crochets. So go ahead and do that, and I will meet you at the end of round 12. When we get to the end of round 12, I will join back with you to show you how to finish off round 12, and then to go into round 13, where we'll begin doing our decreased stitches. When you get to the end of round 12, we're going to do a slip stitch right into that first double crochet to end the round. To start round 13, we're going to chain 3. This chain 3 will count as a stitch for our beginning sequence for round 13. So we're going to double crochet We're going to skip this stitch at the base of the chain 3 since that is counting, and we are going to go into the next stitch and do a double crochet, and we're going to also do that in the next 2. So counting the chain 3, that will give you 4 double crochets. All right, so there's our 4 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're now going to start our decreasing stitch doing a double crochet decrease. To do that, you yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, 2 loops remaining on the hook, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, you have 3 loops left on the hook, yarn over, and pull through all 3, and that completes your first double crochet decrease. Okay, we're going to do 4 double crochets in each over the next 4 stitches, so 1 in each stitch. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to work another double crochet decrease. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2. You have 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2. You have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3. Let's do one more set together. Let's do a double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we're going to do a double crochet decrease. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, you have 3 loops left on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. So you're going to continue working that little pattern of 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches, and then what would be your 5th and 6th stitch, you're going to work a double crochet decrease. Do that all the way around until you get to the end and you have 4 stitches remaining, and I will meet back up with you at the end of the round with 4 stitches remaining. When you get to the end of the round and you have 4 stitches remaining after the last double crochet decrease, we're going to do 1 double crochet in each of those remaining 4 stitches. And then we're going to slip stitch into the top of the first double crochet to complete the round. We're going to chain 3 to begin round 14. This chain 1 will count as a double crochet, and we are going to skip the stitch at the base of that chain 3 since that is counting as a double crochet, and we're going to do a double crochet into the next stitch, and we're going to do 1 more into the next stitch. And now we're going to work a double crochet decrease stitch. And for this round, we're going to do a pattern of 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, and then we're going to work a double crochet decrease. When you come to the end of the round, you're going to end with the last 3 stitches remaining with a double crochet in each of those 3. When you get to the end of the round, I will meet up with you there. And as you come to the end of round 14, you should have ended with a double crochet in each of the last 3 stitches. And we are going to join with a slip stitch going through the top of the first double crochet. And I am going to pause this for just a minute, and I'm going to switch colors. If you want to switch colors and you're not sure how, I do have another video that teaches several different options of how to change colors. So if you want to take a moment and go check that video out. And you should also notice that your hat is starting to close up as we begin doing our decreasing stitches and creating the very top of the hat. So I will be right back as soon as I get my color changed over. So I have joined my color, and we're going to chain 1 for this round instead of chain 3. So while you're chaining 1, let me just show you that this pattern and this hat is a great example of working with 2 different yarn weights. You do not have to work with 2 different yarn weights. I did for this because I like these colors together. Remember, this is a light 3 and this is a medium weight 4. So to get started, and I'm going to work my color change tail in as I go, we are going to do a single crochet into the first stitch. Chain 1 does not count as a stitch, and we are skipping the base of that stitch. And we're going to single crochet into the next stitch, and then we are going to do a single crochet decrease. And the way we do that is insert your hook. I don't know why I yarned over. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, go into the next stitch and insert your hook, pull up a loop, and you have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops, and that is a single crochet decrease. All right, so we're going to keep doing this repeat pattern. Let's do it a couple more times. We're going to single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, and now we're going to do a single crochet decrease. So we're going to insert our hook, pull up a loop, 2 loops on the hook, insert our hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. We're going to do this one more time. We're going to work a single crochet into the next stitch, a single crochet into the next stitch, and we're going to work a single crochet decrease. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, you have 2 loops on the hook, go into the next stitch and insert your hook, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. Now I have worked my tail in pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and snip that off, but go ahead and continue working the round of a single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then work a single crochet decrease in the next 2 stitches, and keep that pattern going, and I will meet up with you at the end of round 15. When you get to the end of that round, we're going to do like we have been. We're going to go right into the top of that first stitch and do a slip stitch. To join, we're going to chain 1. We're going to skip the stitch at the base of that chain 1, and we're going to do a single crochet into the next, and then we're going to go right into doing a single crochet decrease. And then in the next stitch, we're going to do a single crochet, and in the next stitch, we're going to do a single crochet decrease. And then in the next stitch, we're going to do a single crochet, and the next stitch, we're going to do a single crochet decrease. And we're going to keep repeating that pattern all the way around. So if you'll go ahead and finish that, and I will meet you at the end of the round. So when you get to the end of round 16, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to slip stitch right into that beginning stitch to join the round. And we are going to chain 1. We're going to skip the stitch at the base of the chain 1, and we're going to go into the next stitch, but we're going to go right into a single crochet decrease. My yarn's a little bit thinner than the last one, so I got to make sure I'm going right up under the stitches like I need to be. Okay. And we're going to complete this round by doing nothing but single crochet decrease stitches. And we're going to do the same thing for the next round. So continue working all the way around round 17, doing single crochet decrease stitches. When you get to the end of the round, you're going to slip stitch into the top of your first stitch and join it with a slip stitch. You're going to chain 1, and then you are going to work single crochet decreases all the way around there. When you get to the end of round 18, I will join back up with you. And it really shouldn't take us that long because, as you can see, our hole is very small. Okay, I am at the end of round 18. I have just a little bit of a hole left here. So I am going to, actually, I don't think I did like a little slip stitch to, yeah, there we go. So I'm going to cut a little bit of a tail off here. About so big, I probably don't even need that much. And I'm going to chain 1 to pull my yarn through and secure down. And then I'm going to take my needle and my yarn, and I'm going to kind of just use it to just go through a couple of these pieces of yarn to just close that hole up. And I've noticed that because I'm probably using a thinner yarn, I've got some kind of bigger holes here from probably just doing the decrease stitches. So I, for my own personal preference, I'm just going to run through a couple of these in the round and just use that to kind of pull those together, because I prefer for those to be closed a little bit. Now the neat thing with these hats, once you have a basic pattern, you can create them however you want. You can change your colors as often as you like. You can make them all one color. I mean, you can do it however you want, and each time you're almost creating a different hat. Now, when I make this hat again, I may actually change my color a little bit sooner and give it more of a striped look. And I think I'm about satisfied with the way this looks. I'm just going to go through a couple more here. And if you were using the same weight yarn, you probably wouldn't have to do that. So I am now satisfied with this, and honestly, I like it. I think I might have been a little bit happier with this color yarn, having been maybe just a little bit wider. So maybe when I started my decrease stitches to begin with, I should have, my hat doesn't look centered, but I promise it is. I should have maybe right here where the decrease stitches, you can see where it started, and given it that much of this other color. Just simply because it's a finer thread or yarn, and you can see how it kind of closes up a lot tighter than the thicker medium 4-weight yarn. So, but that's all right. I am happy with it. So I'm just going to stick my yarn needle right down through the center there, because I always like to weave my ends in on the back side or the wrong side. And I'm just going to grab up a couple stitches like this, and I'm just going to create a little bit of a knot, and I'm going to come back through here and double secure that knot, and then I'm going to pull my knot a little tight, just give it a little tug, and then I'm just going to go up underneath a couple of my stitches here and secure my tail in. And since this is a finer yarn, which gives it a little bit smoother texture, or some like to call it a little slippery, I'm going to do that a couple times just to make sure that it is nice and secure and won't slide out. And then I'm just going to trim my tail. And now to complete my party in a hat, I want to add a pom-pom. I do have a separate video on making pom-poms. If you want to go check that out, it gives you several different options. And I'm going to come right up into the center of my hat. I did a good job securing that down and tightening it up. All right, there we go. And I'm going to grab the yarn of both my pom-pom strings that I had left long for securing, and I'm going to pull them through. And then I'm going to just kind of come under a couple here and grab just one of them and pull it through. And then I'm going to just knot it down, pull it kind of tight, snug enough that it's tight, but you don't want to break your yarn. Of course, this 4 medium weight's pretty tough. And I'm just going to do that a couple times. I'm not going to snip it right at the knot. I'm going to leave just a little bit of a tail. It won't be seen, and it won't bother you when it's being worn. And there you go. There is our party in a hat. And I think you would agree that maybe coming down with that color in the future. And we'll take one more look at our other party in a hat. And this one, of course, looks a little bit longer. It is the same pattern, but the difference is all of this was used using a medium 4-weight yarn, and this one was used using a medium 4-weight and a light 3-weight. So, but anyway, there we go. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If so, please be sure and give it a thumbs up. And if you are following along and doing the hats with us for the Hat Not Hate project, and if you are new to my channel, please be sure and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. I have a lot of exciting videos coming out this week. And until next time, be joyful, stay crafty in your own way, and make your own joyful creations.